So I'm gonna do my impression of my wife doing an impression of me. You ready for this? This is how she says I sound on YouTube. Hey guys, it all started with a watch. So today we got another review of Zezame. They sent the channel in another watch, another one. Zezame Watches has been incredibly generous to the channel once again. At this point, I feel like I'm an ambassador for the company. We've done 3 out of the 4 models that they provide. Let's run through the specifications, and just because the watch was provided to the channel does not mean they have any control over what is said here. I am not a puppet. All my words are true, and it's important to me that I report the absolute truth to you guys. So with a case width of 40.5 millimeters, we have a case length of 48.5 millimeters, a case thickness of 13.5. It is mineral crystal on this actual watch, even though they have seen some changes for their other watches being a sapphire crystal. I guess, in my opinion, that they probably had a whole bunch of these mineral crystals left over. So they did do this model in a more insignificant crystal, but we get a push-pull crown, 50 ATM, so 50 meters of water resistance. The case of the material is 316L stainless steel. It has a TMI VK64A for a movement, and the cost of the watch is going to be $198. Kicking things off with the bracelet, the watch hugs the wrist with a stainless steel gunmetal bracelet and a curved male end link, primarily brushed. We are getting some polishing on the edge of the center link. Brushed push deployment clasp with even the push buttons coated in this gunmetal. Polished on the edging, engraved with the Zezame, and 2 tooled micro adjustments on the clasp. Or Zezame also has provided a silicone rubber strap included with the purchase. Gunmetal hardware at the buckle, polishing on the edge with a brushing combination, and at the lug attachment we also get gunmetal stainless steel for an integrated look. 2 keepers, one with a stationary hold and the second one meant for traveled adjustment. Shielding the vulnerable and delicate backside of the movement, we have a case back that has circular brushing, engraved with a descriptive text about the watch, Zezame Z for the logo and the full spelling to follow, and is secured down with 4 screws. For keyless work function, a push-pull crown with a stylish finishing and a signed crown, easy to grip and function for the user. And from this angle, we can also appreciate the polished pushers for the chronograph complication that not only looks good, giving us a nice audible click, more so when starting and resetting rather than stopping the function. The case itself has horizontal brush size, polished edging towards the top of the case. We can find vertical brushing at the top view of the case, where we also see 2 faux screws on each corner of the case. Continued vertically brushing into the top of the lugs. Now there's no bezel to speak of, but protecting the dial and its contents, we have a proud domed mineral crystal, transparent on its side view. For time reading, we have the syringe-like hour and minute hand, brush filled with Loom, color-coded second hand, red in my case, Loom paint applied at the tip. For interior design, the full dial displayed is chocked full of details. Starting with the chapter ring slightly raised at the very edge of the dial against the crystal, a red train track from 9 to 3, and at the top side, a white from 3 to 9 at the bottom end. Stepping down and closer in, applied markers brushed full of Loom, including at the 12 o'clock where we spot a Z for the logo. And I have to say that the applied hour markers that are part of the chapter ring floating over the main plate dial creates an interesting depth not seen often with watches in general. Painted second hands and minute markers in between that, but it creates a lot of depth, and I was really impressed with this feature. A nice frame border around the Loom date wheel at the 6 o'clock, and that's also attached to the inner housing chapter ring that floats gently over the dial. At the 9 o'clock, we can spot a minute to hour tracker, also tracking the seconds with the main chronograph hand. And at the 3 o'clock, subdial is displaying a 24-hour read throughout the day. And finally, for the main floor of the dial, it's beautifully detailed with horizontal line patterns resembling a wood look, Zezame printed at slightly raised at the 12, and a chronograph text at the 6 o'clock, both printed in white. For nocturnal adaptation, we can see this watch is packed full of Loom. At the indices, you got the Z at the 12 o'clock, the date wheel is loomed, the hour and minute hand, and at the end of the second hand, we can also see some Loom on there as well. Very nice. Improvements to the watch. So I have a list of improvements that we could put here to implement, but keep in mind that if these improvements are applied, there is going to be a cost increase. Not so much to defend Zezame, but at the end of the day, what makes sense makes sense. The watch is priced very fairly at $198. So if these were actually applied, obviously the cost would go up significantly, except for the actual sapphire crystal mentioned in the beginning of the video. I think that again is probably them trying to get rid of the stock that they have, using that in the past and changing it over to make improvements for our top requested feature. But if you were to add quick release at the lugs, that probably wouldn't be something that is too much of a cost increase. I also think maybe a Seagull movement. I mean, obviously that would change things over completely, and they would probably have to change the 24-hour scale as well. But if I had to point out something, I would probably say the sapphire crystal is the only caveat from this watch. But honestly, I got Polywatch and I'm pretty much okay with that. Now, there are a lot of strengths that Zezame has for us. And the first thing is probably to bear witness is the packaging. I thought it was a nice little touch, and they were able to keep costs low, even though they went through a few iterations of their packaging. The gunmetal throughout the entire watch is well done. I love the fact that they also included on the pushers and on the deployment on the clasp for the buttons itself. Very nice brushing throughout. The loom is applied very nice. The dial gives us a lot of depth. I mean, the watch is just solidly made, and Zezame produces solid watches in the affordable category, in my opinion. They give a lot of attention to detail, and that is very apparent. You get 2 straps, even at that a very affordable rate. So in my book, this is also a very strong watch. If you're looking for something that's going to be a quartz, easy, just grab and go, this would be a fantastic option over their automatic version in this Nighthawk edition. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you haven't seen my other review videos on the Zezame watches, check them out. We've done the White Dragon and we've done the automatic Nighthawk. I'll leave a link in the description below where you guys can make the purchase for this watch. This all started with a watch, and in this case, an affordable quartz chrono. But no matter where your watch collection journey takes you, no matter how you decide to collect, you guys are all welcome on this channel and in this community, as you should be. I appreciate you guys checking out the review, and I'll see you in the next one.